Bart Starr has taken over the offense this week, and he told us, quote unquote, we will establish a running game. You can depend upon that. But what about Ram coach Ray Malavasi? What do you have to say about all this?
You know, one thing about the Los Angeles Rams, they're the most difficult team to run on when you're supposed to run. If you try and run on first down or only on short yardage situations, they really play that well and very tough. I asked Ray Malavasi if they would be able to stop the Packer running game today.
Yes, I think so. I think we got an excellent chance of stopping their run. I think that's the first part of professional football, is to be able to stop the run on 1st and 10. If you can do that, make them come up with 2nd and 8 or 2nd and 9, I think then you make them play into your hands.
Okay.
And there is Bart Starr. And one thing about Ray Malavasi, John, that he has to be concerned about coming into this game is that they have yet to throw a touchdown pass, and they've suffered 7 interceptions.
Well, I think they feel that today is a good day to start. You know, they had that controversy in the preseason and early in the season where who's the quarterback? Is it Hayden, who's been their leader, or should it be Ferragamo? Of course, Hayden was hurt in the first regular season game, and now the quarterback is Vince Ferragamo.
And the Rams have won the toss. They've elected to receive. This is Drew Hill, who the first carry and the first kickoff of 1980 went 98 yards for a touchdown, and he brings it out this time to the 25. And Mark Lee makes the stop. Let's check now the starting lineups. And this offensive line, John Madden, is as good as any in the NFL.
One of the best, and the player that I really like on this team is number 78, the right tackle, Jackie Slater.
And there in the backfield, Elvis Peacock. He's starting at the halfback spot due to the injury to Wendell Tyler.
And he's having a little problem with his footing. He's slipping a lot.
Wide receivers, you see Denard starting today instead of Willie Miller. The quarterback is Vince Ferragamo. And he starts it off with Cullen Bryant. And Bryant's going to lose some yardage. Excellent reaction by Ezra Johnson. Johnson playing with an injured hand. We'll watch him very closely. But Ezra Johnson, just an outstanding rusher. 2 years ago, he had 20 and a half sacks. Good pressure is also put on by linebacker Mike Douglas. So Ferragamo's team now backed up to the 20, where they're going to have a 2nd down and 14 yards to go.
Ezra Johnson will have his hands full today with Big Doug France.
The thing about the Rams is that they have the potential to be an explosive football team. But they have not been able to get on track, as evidenced by the passing game, but also their running game has not gone that well. Ferragamo on 2nd and 14. Pressure put on the screen to Bryant, and Bryant takes the tackle to 20, 25, 30, 35 for the 40, and Bryant with a great individual effort has the first down out to the 45-yard line. Mike Douglas eventually made the stop, and that is a 25-yard pickup.
Well, we'll see, this was a different type of screen, Gary. It's off a play pass. See, they fake strong side, then Cullen Bryant comes back to the weak side. It was a misdirection screen, and that's what Detroit was successful with last week against the Green Bay Packers, misdirection.
Boy, you talk about missed tackles. Michael Hunt could have thrown him for a loss. He just couldn't hang on to Cullen Bryant.
He was there. He really wasn't fooled.
There's that secondary. Their safeties, Luke and Gray, have been playing together for 6 years. They call themselves the Hit Brothers. A first down. This is Elvis Peacock. And Peacock to the 49-yard line. That's Mike Butler, number 77, over to make the stop. Peacock is the man that just hasn't been able to get on track due to injuries. His first year, he broke his ankle. Last year, he came in the 11th week of the season, went down with another injury. But yet, they have great potential in that position with him playing there. 2nd down and 7 yards to go. Ferragamo has Denard along with Billy Waddy split out. This is Peacock again. Peacock inside the 45 to the 44, and that'll be a first down. Mike Douglas making the stop, and the Rams are very impressive in this first series.
They are, and I think that that's a good way to start is to hand the ball to Peacock. It's off a trap here, but on the inside running game where he doesn't have to make those cuts because he's been having trouble on the sweeping plays and off tackle making the cut. They're trying to change his shoes, but Hewitt Dixon, their backfield coach, told me that it's because he cuts off his inside foot.
From the 44, first down for the Rams. We're just underway in Anaheim Stadium. Ferragamo, lots of time to throw the ball. And he has the completion to the 40-yard line. That is Elvis Peacock coming out of the backfield. Peacock coming into this game had 3 catches, showing his versatility, the former University of Oklahoma standout in his 2nd year. And Ferragamo throwing that ball with authority.
I think the Rams show one thing is today they will throw on first down, and the Rams have never been that type of team before. You know, they've always been the type where you run when you're supposed to and you pass when you're supposed to, and I think that's a good indicator.
They have to be concerned about this slow start because San Francisco's on their way to winning 3 in a row. Here's Elvis Peacock, and Peacock to the 36-yard line. Michael Hunt, number 55, a man who didn't play in the preseason very much due to some headaches. They got him a new football helmet, and now he evidently has been able to play without that hindrance. Well, this is a tough game to play, let alone playing it with a headache.
I know it. You know, sometimes you play with a headache so much the headache starts to feel normal. Then that's when you're in trouble.
But as a coach, you never had one in your life, did you? A headache?
Well, the same thing with a coach. You coach with a constant headache. After a while, it starts to feel good.
Third down, a yard to go for the Rams. Everybody in tight on this play. You see Peacock in the backfield. Colin Bryant. And diving forward, he's able to pick it up. That is Peacock inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. Interesting thing about these two teams, John, and we could develop this as it goes on. They're playing on natural surface here. The Packers, of course, play on natural grass, both in Milwaukee and Green Bay.
And this is a great turf here. The Rams at their practice field have the same type of turf, and that was an interesting play on that last one. You know, they go 2 tight ends, but the second tight end is their rookie offensive tackle, Irv Pankey. And he lines up next to Doug France on the left side. And that gives them a lot of beef over there, but they were short. I would suspect that they'll go for it. The fans want them to, and I'm sure that Coach Ray Malavasi wants them.
You don't listen to the fans, do you, as a coach?
No, only, you know, because if the fans want you to go for it, then you go for it, and you don't get it, you have to live with it. You know, they don't. They just order a hot dog, bring me another hot dog and a Coke, and boom.
They are going to go for it. As you surmised, it'll be 4th down, inches to go. You saw that final a while ago. Detroit's 3-0 now. The St. Louis Cardinals 0-3. Boy, the Lions, what a surprise they have been in the early going. Ferragamo to Peacock, and he has the first down to the 30-yard line. Good charge that time by the right side of that Ram offensive line.
And I'll tell you, the player that led that is number 78, Jackie Slater. On the right side, we see the tight end and Jackie blocking down there and giving the hole for the lead. See, Cullen Bryant came through first to just get anything that happened to be in there, and then, of course, Elvis Peacock was right behind him for the first down.
You have felt all along that Slater might be the most underrated player.
I think he's one of the most underrated, but I also think he's one of the best tackles in the National Football League.
What a job he did in the Super Bowl. First down, inside the 30. Ferragamo on first down, wanting to throw, up to Peacock, and he is belted and really knocked down that time by John Anderson. Anderson, the third-year man from Michigan, who's a very steady performer for this Packer team. His biggest problem has been an arm difficulty. He's broken the same arm twice. We have a score here. Cleveland getting on the winning side of the ledger. Chiefs still haven't won this year.
Oh, and they were thinking big things in Kansas City this year. And, of course, they're getting off to a slow start.
There is Bart. As we mentioned in the top of the show, he said we will establish our running game. But, John, you got to get the football.
And then you have to run.
From the 33. Second down now. 14 yards to go. Ferragamo wanting to throw again. His protection is outside. Billy Waddy, the very corner of the end zone, taking it in. Waddy with his first touchdown catch, and of course that's the first touchdown this year for the Rams via the pass as he got behind Estes Hood.
You know, it was real good pass protection. You see, Vince Ferragamo has room to step up. Billy Waddy ran a corner pattern, and the thing that I was impressed with what he did is he really took the defender Estes Hood to the inside. He made Estes Hood think that it was a post, and then Estes Hood went to the inside. Billy Waddy went back to the outside. It was a great move.
That is the kind of offensive explosion you expect from the Rams, because Waddy is just one of those home run type receivers. Point after attempts, Frank Corral, Nolan Cromwell to hold, and Corral adds it. And the Los Angeles Rams have a 7-0 lead with 8:53 to go in this first quarter. That was a 76-yard drive and 10 plays that put the Rams on the board.
Sometimes, if you heard what people think.
Checking out the new guy.
Cute, but he's scratching his head. Could be dandruff.
Likes the hair.
No flakes, but that itch probably needs Head and Shoulders.
She's gonna say hi.
Even if no one tells you, your itch could be telling them you've got dandruff. But Head and Shoulders every time handles that itch, treats hair gently, so all people notice is healthy-looking hair.
Great hair. Hi.
Head and Shoulders. Because that little itch should be telling you something.
Some guys never learn. They're still taking it on the chin. Gotcha. Norelco offers the Norelco rotary razor. Not 1 or 2 blades, but 36 blades inside 3 adjustable floating heads and a unique shaving angle for a very close shave without a nick or cut. So say hello to the Norelco rotary razor and say goodbye to Gotcha.
It's 7-0. The Rams, who are looking for their first win, start this game off very impressively with that 76-yard drive. And well, this is a strange kick. What is this? Johnny Gray is going to pick it up to 25 to the 30-yard line. Gray making a good run out to the 42-yard line. That was by design, wasn't it, John?
No, I don't think so. You know, if we watch here, we see Corral is limping off the field. I think that just before he kicked the ball that something happened to his left leg.
He is hurt, John. You're exactly right. And he's the only kicker they have.
And we'll see it again. Right just before he hit the ball, his left leg pulled up. And he didn't mean to kick it that way.
Well, Diaz. Corral is the only guy in the National Football League that's trying to do both the punting and the place kicking. All the rest of the teams have 2 kickers.
What do you do for a reserve?
I don't know. Lynn Dickey off to Eddie Lee Ivory running from that halfback spot, and he makes it to the 44-yard line. I don't think I've ever seen a coach any more emphatic than Bart Starr was. Well, you can see Corral is in pain. And Bart Starr was yesterday, John, when we visited with him, about establishing his running game.
He said that he was going to do it, but I know one thing. I have a lot of respect for Bart Starr, but if you're going to establish anything against the Rams, I think it has to be mixture.
And right now they have a second down, 7 yards to go. A pickup of 3 by Eddie Lee Ivory. McCarron snaps the ball to Dickey, and here is Ivory again, and you can see it's not going to be easy to run against this forward wall. That was the safety, Nolan Cromwell, coming up. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Los Angeles Rams and the National Football League is prohibited. One of the big stories is on the sideline for the Rams. Frank Corral, they're still looking him over. I saw Chester Markle do the same thing for Green Bay a couple of years ago on a kickoff. Hurt his leg, and it looks like that's the difficulty now. 3rd down and 9. That's James Lofton in motion from the shotgun. Dickey's in trouble. And Dickey, who was seriously injured in 1977 in a game with the Los Angeles Rams, is dumped in a hurry as Youngblood and Dreyer got there in a hurry.
They sure did, and that's one thing that's very difficult against the Rams is to pass on 3rd and long because they have a great pass rush. You see with Fred Dreyer coming from one side, Jack Youngblood, who's ready to play now, coming from the other side. They're tough to handle on true passing situations.
You know, Jack Youngblood can punt, but Corral can't, but I'm not sure who's their place kicker. They may have to volunteer from the sideline. David Beverly now on 4th down. Leroy Urban back. He's going to let it go out of bounds. And the Rams will have the football at their own 22-yard line. 42-yard kick by Beverly. So the Rams with a 7-0 lead. They have blunted the Packers' first offensive opportunity.
Well, set for a comfortable evening?
I hope so.
Then you should be wearing comfortable slacks, like Hager Magic Stretch.
All right.
It's the Hager Expandomatic waistband and special stretch woven fabric of today's Dacron.
Terrific.
They won't squeeze your budget either. In Hager Magic Stretch, you'll feel as good as you look.
What more could a man ask for?
Well...
Nice of you to pop in, my dear.
A world car is coming, the new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car, built in America with better ideas from around the world. The front-wheel drive Escort has the highest gas mileage label of any compact, foreign or domestic, even higher than the subcompact Rabbit, Accord, Corolla hatchback. yet Escort has more room inside. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
Next Saturday, go trackside to the World Team Speedway Championships and rinkside to the U.S. Roller Skating Championships. 4:30 Eastern next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
With John Madden, I'm Gary Bender. The Rams have the football in a 7-0 lead, but a big story is this man, Frank Corral, who hurt himself kicking off. You can see as he's trying to put some weight on that leg, it's his left leg, not the kicking leg.
No, it was a left leg, and it looked like it could be the left ankle.
Anyway, we're still speculating. We think either Jack Youngblood or Bob Lee would be the backup punter. Here comes Elvis Peacock out to the 31-yard line. I'll tell you, the Rams are just coming right at Green Bay. Johnny Gray with the tackle. There's a final, and this is really of importance because the Rams were talking about this game earlier today.
I was in the locker room, and that's all they were talking about is the 49ers. I went in, and they gave me the score. At that time, it was 24-0. So they are feeling the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, John, we worked a preseason game in August, and you told me the 49ers would be the surprise team in the NFC. You and Jimmy DeGroot from the 31. Here's the pitch to Peacock. And Peacock to the 34-yard line. They'll bring up a first down. He just got across it by a yard or so. Estes Hood and Cincinnati has defeated Pittsburgh. The Steelers and Cincinnati, that was a seesaw affair.
That's a surprise. It was a great football game. But one thing Pittsburgh never does is lose to someone under 500. And this, I think, was the second time in 5 or 6 years.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Cincinnati played tough the first 2 weeks. And Forrest Gregg with his first win now in Cincinnati.
Would have been a shame had they lost the third tight one.
They lost to Tampa Bay and Miami at the very last of each of those games. First down, just short of the 35. Waddy in motion, Ferragamo. Again, throwing on first down. Passing pattern intended for Preston Denard. Denard out of New Mexico, a free agent who is a poet. In fact, he says he is poetry in motion.
I don't know about the poetry in motion, but I do like throwing on first down. They did it off play pass, which really held the Green Bay linebackers in there, and then Denard was able to run an in pattern with no underneath coverage.
Denard last year with 43 catches. He became a starter when Willie Miller went down with an injury. Second down 10 now, just short of the 35. 7-0. The Rams on top. Second time with the football. Elvis Peacock, all kinds of running room. That brings it out to the 40. Michael Hunt and Mike Douglas. And again, you can see there's a lot of white shirts being knocked down as that offensive line is firing out.
If we can see this again, if we can see Jackie Slater, number 78, the right tackle, and we do see him right there on Mike Butler. Butler lined up outside, and Jackie Slater drove into him, worked him, and hooked him so that Peacock could get outside.
Butler and Johnson with Charlie Johnson, the nose tackle, as the Packers this year going to that 3-4 defense. Third down, 4. Ferragamo with pressure from Butler. Waddy has it for a first down. There is a flag, though, at the 47-yard line. Ferragamo that time, John, showing some pretty good ad-libbing ability. Estes Hood defending on the pass.
He had to, and I think the reason he showed that ability is he saw it right when it happened. Mike Butler took an inside.
Defense, decline, first down.
That is
an inside move, right. Yeah, he took an inside move on Jackie Slater and beat him right on the line of scrimmage. But, of course, they can't have any contact after the first 5 yards, and that's the penalty that we have.
We understand that Bob Lee now, our producer David Fox indicating, would do the punting, and Jack Youngblood would do the place kicking if Corral cannot play. The way they're moving the football, they may not have to punt. This football team is very impressive. First down at the 46-yard line. Calvin Bryant, Elvis Peacock, the running back. Ferragamo again on first down, wanting to throw. All kinds of time, and now he's getting out of the pocket to the 45-yard line. Coming over was Hunt to make the tackle, but John, that's just too much time running around in that backfield.
That is too much time, and I'll tell you where you have to give the credit on this one is to the Green Bay secondary, because Ferragamo has plenty of time to throw the ball. In fact, he may have too much time. He looks to the middle, he looks to the right, he runs to the right a little, goes back, tries to throw to the left, up to the middle again, and there was nothing open. That was great coverage.
And so it's going to bring up second down and 8 for this Los Angeles team. And here's the final. Boy, the Vikings scoring a lot of points in 2 of their 3 games. Chicago, they're now 1-2. They, of course, lost to these Packers in overtime in the first game of the season. Ferragamo back on 2nd and 8. Roddy trying to get loose, but he has the pickup very close to the first down at the 36-yard line. Ed O'Neill, the former Detroit Lion, over there to make the tackle. They may have to measure to see if Waddy has made the catch. When you have Waddy and Denard at those wide-out positions, John, there's just all kinds of havoc, especially when you're protecting Ferragamo like they are.
That's right, and that's a big thing. We talked about the coverage on that last play, but that pass protection is so much from the Ram offense. I would think somewhere that the Green Bay Packers are going to have to start sending a linebacker, maybe just one, but they're going to have to get a little more pressure. They can't let Ferragamo just sit back there and look over the field all day, because really there's no reason for him to run. He should do that every play.
Look at the stats on Ferragamo. And look at the stats on Waddy for that matter. But Ferragamo is 6 of 7 for 81 yards and a touchdown. Give you an idea how effective he has been. And so, just short of the first down, as you saw it. 3rd down coming up. They come in now with a tight end in the wing position. That's Walt Arnold, number 84. Ferragamo to Peacock. Peacock has the first down and then some. And Peacock is off to a very good start in this football game. First down, moving the ball to the 32-yard line.
You know, one thing that Elvis Peacock did on that run is he finished it off. You know, that's what I always wanted my backs to do, is they can all run, they can all get outside, they can follow their blockers, and they can do something. But right at the end, don't go down until you finish it off. You see how he got 1, 2, 3, 4 more steps.
And some of those good backs, John, not only can finish it off well, but they know when to quit, too, right?
Well, I think you have to know, because if you don't, there's a lot of fumbles caused in those situations.
First down, and again, Ferragamo throwing. This has been the story. This is Denard. Preston Denard with Johnny Gray trying to get back. That was a case of turning one way, then having to relocate the football.
It was the same pattern that Billy Waddy ran on the right side. It was a corner pattern. The Green Bay Packer corners are playing inside techniques. So what the Ram ends are doing is they're bringing them down, taking them inside like they're going to the post and then cutting to the outside.
And that time, Ferragamo missing on only his 2nd pass thus far. 2 minutes, 43 seconds to go in this first quarter. The Rams with a 7-0 lead. They marched 76 yards earlier for a touchdown, and now on the move again. Ferragamo off to Peacock. Peacock inside the 30, 25. Push to another first down. Johnny Gray coming up, and Gray is making a handful of tackles, and that's not what Bart Starr wants. He doesn't want that safety making that many tackles. He needs some help up front.
Watch the block by number 32, Cullen Bryant here. He's the lead blocker. You see there, right there, as he knocked John Anderson to the outside. That's the big block on that play, because that allowed the cutback for Elvis Peacock.
Peacock now has 10 carries for 54 yards. Last year, he gained 224 yards. But again, as we said, he broke his ankle in game number 11, so he didn't have a full season. But they really like this man from Oklahoma. 3rd down, a short drive. Inches and back to go. Again to Peacock. Nothing fancy about this, but this time it doesn't work. Good reaction by John Anderson, number 59. Out of Michigan, a Wisconsin native, played his high school football at Waukesha. But, John, they're not doing anything deceptive. That's kind of like the old Packer sweep just coming out of there.
They probably would have been better off had they been less deceptive. I think anytime you get 3rd and inches, you ought to take the ball and just run it right up the middle to one of your big backs. I don't like sweeping across the backfield.
You see the reaction from Bratkowski and Starr. There was a personal foul against Green Bay, and there's the final. Miami pulling that one out against Atlanta. Atlanta, we had them last week in New England. So impressive in that win. But that will give the Rams, obviously, the first down. Let's see who the personal foul is against.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, out of bounds, 46, defense, first down.
That's Steve Luke, who was running Peacock over the end line, and as an end result, 15-yard penalty is Dick Jorgensen, the referee for today's game. And at the 12-yard line, that's where they have it. There's Luke out of Ohio State. He, along with Johnny Gray, have started at those safety spots for 6 seasons. At secondary, they call themselves the SWAT team. This is Colin Bryant. He cuts to the 10, a gain of 2. Mike Douglas reacting to make the stop. Douglas is one of those football players that Bart Starr says when he is hot, he is really playing well, but he's had some inconsistency at that position.
Inconsistency means when he's hot, and when he's cold, he's cold. But, you know, that Colin Bryant is so big and strong. He is really something that these linebackers, they don't enjoy taking him on, whether it's as a blocker or as a ball carrier.
John, he was actually a defensive player when he first came here. Did you ever switch anybody from that offense to defense?
We would have switched him.
Coming out of Colorado, and after 1 year, the defensive backs moved to the running back department. This is a new man, Eddie Hill, who just checked in. We have a flag on the play. Eddie Hill, the backup running back from Memphis State. Second-round draft pick of a year ago. Let's see what this penalty is all about. We're going to have holding against Los Angeles, so that'll bring it back 10 yards.
I'll
see if we can pick it up, John.
That's a great drive kill, and it's happening right inside, and I saw it right away. It's Rich Saul. You see what he did is he took his right arm, and he put it up to the outside. Of course, they can block, they can use their hands, but they can't.
Holding number 61. Offense.
You called it, Coach.
Still second down.
Well, he did it right now. He didn't wait until he got into the block. Right now, his first move was boom right up there, and he hooked the outside of Charles Johnson.
I don't know how you spot all these holding calls. When you were coaching, were you just watching that line all the time? You seem to see those before the referees out there.
I used to pay a lot of attention to the officials. They never paid any to me, but I always knew what they were doing.
It wasn't a fair exchange, huh? So the penalty now will make it second down. 20 yards to go. Back at the 20. Ferragamo. He hits Waddy. Waddy drawing a crowd in a hurry from Estes Hood. And they're going to get back 5 of those yards inside the 15-yard line. Waddy was a running back at Colorado. He is really one of the fastest men in the National Football League, and they say he matured last year in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl.
He sure did, and when Billy Waddy was at Colorado, he was a running back. As you say, I thought that he could be a defensive back. Now that means that he's a great player, of course, and it also means I maybe don't know what I'm doing when I'm talking about college players.
Third down, 12. 22 seconds left in this first quarter. The Rams, they've had time of possession all this first quarter. Here's Ferragamo to Colin Bryant. Bryant to the 10-yard line, and good reaction that time by the Packers, in particular Hunt and Anderson, the 2 linebackers. And so it's going to bring up Frank Corral. Now he's limping onto the field, and I mean limping.
He's limping. You know, for a soccer-style kicker, which Frank Corral is, the left foot is his plant foot, and that's as important as his kicking foot.
And Corral has just been very impressive as far as field goal kicking is concerned. Thus far, he's 3 of 3. That's the end of the first quarter. We'll be back in a moment.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Tide's just right. That'll be a full moon. Hardly any wind. And the Lowenbrau's cold. Sure beats the office.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrau.
Sure hope the fish don't bother us.
Here's another Radio Shack major computer breakthrough. The amazing new TRS-80 Pocket Computer, only $249. Imagine a basic language computer that weighs just 6 ounces. Now carry TRS-80 power in your pocket while traveling, on the job, solve problems, process data, and store it in permanent memory for instant recall. The amazing TRS-80 Pocket Computer, only at Radio Shack, the biggest name in little computers.
It's breathtaking, it's dazzling, it's unbelievable. It's special effects The Empire Strikes Back with host Mark Hamill Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Frank Corral ready to attempt a field goal as we start this second quarter of play. The Rams on top 7-0. Ray Malavasi will watch this very closely because Corral was very gimpy as he came on the field. He hurt himself on the kickoff. He's 3 of 3 and has kicked exceptionally well. You can see him warming up as he will be attempting a 29-yard field goal. tell you, this first quarter's been all Los Angeles. They just haven't given up the football. As we start the second 15 minutes.
Again, we should watch Frank Corral's left foot on this kick, Gary.
Snap was not all that good, but Corral was able to nail it. And Frank Corral makes it a 10-0 lead. Well, he made that look easy. Just kind of a little chip shot that time. Look at him.
He didn't get much in it. As we watch him here, you see that left foot goes down, and it holds well. That's the most important foot.
When Ford started building a new generation of small cars, we called on the world. The incredible world of Ford.
Ford Motor Company, good morning. Mr. Howard.
Fortinkölen, guten Tag. Zentrale, Herr Jupp.
Mr. Dobson, we have Italy on the line.
For over 50 years, Ford has been building small cars in Europe. Today, when America needs high-quality small cars, the incredible world of Ford is working to meet that need, building a new generation of cars with world-class technology right here in America.
If you could see tomorrow.
Tomorrow arrives October 3rd with a new Ford Escort and Mercury Lynx, competing with anything in their class from anywhere in the world.
Next Saturday, the U.S. goes wheel to wheel with the world's best in the World Team Speedway Championships from Poland. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Well, Jack Youngblood will be kicking off due to the injury of Frank Corral. Look at that time of possession in that first quarter. That's unbelievable. 13:07 to 1:53. Kickoff by Mark Lee. Lee, the rookie from Washington, and he's dropped by Joe Harris at the 30-yard line. And so the Packers will have it. And in this first quarter, John, the Packers had only 3 plays from the line of scrimmage. Los Angeles 24. And the total yardage, as you look at Youngblood, I don't know that that was all that successful a kickoff. But as you look at the first quarter, the Rams had 123 yards in offense. Green Bay a -7.
Frank Corral was over there shaking Jack Youngblood. Thanks a lot. I didn't want to do that.
Gary Ellis, Eddie Lee Ivory. Ellis starting at fullback. We'll see Steve Atkins before the day is over at the fullback spot. Here is Ivory, and Ivory to the 30-yard line. They did not start Atkins at fullback because they didn't feel he had enough experience there, so they started Ellis, who was an earlier draft pick this year of the Los Angeles Rams. And so Atkins will, in fact, be at fullback later in this game. 30-yard line, about a half-yard pickup on that last play. Lofton, who's playing with a very sore ankle, put to the bottom of the screen. Andre Thompson to the top. If you look at Jack Reynolds, that middle linebacker. On a second down. This is Ellis. And Ellis finds a little running room. Reggie Doss, 71, making the stop. And one thing the Rams are doing, John, is they're just playing a lot of people. They're alternating people up front. Reggie Doss, you'll see a lot of him for Fred Dreyer and also Jack Youngblood.
That's right. As we see this play again here, one thing, the Ram defensive line, who's ever playing, control the line of scrimmage very well on run downs. And if you're going to run against them, you have to run on passing downs. You need mixture.
Got to mix it up. Third down. 7 yards to go. Line of scrimmage, the 33. That's Lofton in motion. 10-0. The Rams are in. Dickey's in trouble. Dickey's going to have to somehow try to get out of this. He does a good job of it. And the pass is intercepted. Picked off. That is Pat Thomas. And Thomas to the 20, to the 19-yard line. Pat Thomas with his first interception of the year.
We're talking about how tough the Rams are. Again, if we see here, when it's 3rd and long, they know you get in a shotgun, they're going to bring those guys. Look at Jack Youngblood here coming, Fred Dreyer from the outside, and they really put the pressure on, and they cover very well.
The Rams have excellent field position when we come back.
How do folks feel when they service their cars with Napa brand parts?
Satisfied.
On top of the world.
Listen to it. Just listen to it.
I did it. And no parts left over.
Lots of Napa brand parts are better than a car's original parts. And using quality parts produces results that make folks feel
great.
When the name is Napa, the standard is quality.
Television should be more than an electronic tranquilizer. At its best as an art form, television should touch you, involve you, move you. The arts of television. Experience it at its best on the one television that is itself a work of art. The Emmy Award-winning Sony Trinitron. Sony, the one and only.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer.
Building inspector.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
I didn't believe you two could build your own house.
Yeah, well, don't look. It's not finished.
Well, I guess we'll just take our low and brown and go home.
Well, maybe one quick look around.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Low and Brow.
What are you going to do when you finish this place? Just what I'm doing right now.
Art Starr looking on. His team has just suffered an interception after Lynn Dickey scrambling after a mishandled snap. There's Ferragamo, 8 of 10, as he has the football at the Packer 20-yard line. And his team with a 10-0 lead, 13-18 to go until halftime. Back to work goes Elvis Peacock. And that's close to a first and goal as he's just outside the 10-yard line. Johnny Gray again on the stop along with Mike Douglas. We've been calling their name quite often in this first half of play.
And we see here that the Ram offensive line is really handling the line of scrimmage. On a sweep play, the defensive line has to get some penetration. They have to get off and into the Ram backfield, which you're not doing on those sweeps.
John, you said that the first thing you have to build is that offensive line.
I think that's where you start a team. If I had to start one place, it would be with the offensive line.
Second down, a short yard to go for first and goal. In motion comes Willie Miller. There's Bryant has the first and goal inside the 5 to the 4. Michael Hunt making the stop. And we'll mention that offensive line again as they have Saul, Smith, Slater, Hill, and France up front. And Houston, who won very impressively Monday night, beating the Colts. Okay, Ken Stabler, your old quarterback, really was super Monday night.
He was. He knows how to work a football team, and when you give him an Earl Campbell and the receivers that he has, he'll work that thing.
Well, they can pull into a tie now with the Steelers. Steelers losing earlier to Cincinnati, 30-28. First and goal. Peacock, check that. Bryant in for the touchdown. Colin Bryant taking it in. What is this? That's a new dance step, isn't it?
I think that's a happy one. You know, it's in the dust down there in the dirt. It looked like an old cowboy movie. The dirt was flying and people were jumping around. All we needed was a couple of six-shooters. But again, watch this here in the control of the line of scrimmage and then the cut back to the inside. I think Green Bay with their three-man line will have to start getting some inside linebacker penetration by dogging a linebacker.
I'll tell you, I don't know. We got to put a label on this one.
Look
I
at
knew
the
more
dust
about
flying.
dancing. He's going to get hurt doing that, isn't he? Corral now for the point after attempt. When you score, I guess you're entitled to doing those kind of things. That point after makes it a 17-0 game. That drive, well, it wasn't all that long. Didn't take very long. And the Rams up by 17.
A world car is coming. The new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car built in America with better ideas from around the world. The front-wheel drive Escort has the highest gas mileage label of any compact, foreign or domestic. Even higher than the subcompact Rabbit, Accord, Corolla hatchback. Yet Escort has more room inside. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
The League of Women Voters invited President Carter to join the 1980 debates. He refused the invitation. Maybe it's because during his administration, inflation has gone as high as 18%. The number of Americans out of work has reached 8.5 million. Housing starts have hit a new low, while interest rates have hit a new high. Maybe he won't debate because he knows the real question is, can we afford 4 more years of this?
The time is now for Reagan. Reagan for president.
Well, you see the two-tone job here by Jack Youngblood. 7 straight years he's been the Pro Bowl, but not for his kicking.
Yeah, that's an old kicking shirt.
And again, Mark Lee with the football. He ran the other one back, and he does an excellent job this time with a 45 victory. Mark Lee, the last time, tried to go to the center of the field. This time he went to the sideline and found some running room. 34-yard return. Jack Youngblood, who kicked off, was over there to help make the stop.
Watch him. He doesn't get down there like the rest. Jack remembers how to kick, but he didn't remember how to cover as quickly. Although he gets over and makes the tackle, he knocks him out of bounds.
Well, he's the first guy that I've known that's kicking off that you would want to go over and make the tackle. Most of those guys, you tell them to get out of the way, right?
I don't know that Corral would have made that tackle with a good leg.
Eddie Leardi, Gary Ellison running backs, the best field position now for the Packers at the 48 of Los Angeles on first down. Dickey's going to try to get out of there, and he gets to the 44-yard line, and Cody Jones over there to drop him. You know, Dickey's had a lot of problems with that leg. He had the rod removed in the offseason, and at times showing some pretty good mobility. They're going to mark the ball at the 46, bring up second down and 8 yards to go. The thing about Dickey is that he has to be thinking about 77 and how he suffered that severe injury against Los Angeles. But more importantly, probably, he's just thinking about how tough this defense is for L.A. They've always been difficult. Andre Thompson, James Weston. That's Kaufman in motion, the tight end. Dickey off to Eddie Lee Ivory. 35, 30. Ivory with a 25, the 20. He might go. Eddie Lee Ivory run for the touchdown. 46 yards that time by Eddie Lee Ivory. And so the Packers strike in a hurry. And Green Bay, who hasn't had the long plays, pulled one off that time.
I'll tell you, the Packers needed that. They put their tight end in motion, and they just had both backs going out and running short hooks. Ivory took off and just ran right by everyone and away from him. Now, I think that Green Bay started out on this drive very interesting in that they came out and they passed on first down. Then they came right back and passed again on second down, and they got a touchdown.
What you got to do, John, is dictate to that defense a little bit.
Right. Don't let them get in a pattern.
Chester Marcole, a point after attempt. Beverly to hold. Ivory, 46-yard scamper for the touchdown. The point after is good, and it's 17-7. And the Packers climbing back in. Let's take a look again at this touchdown play.
Here we see again that the pass rush wasn't that great because it wasn't on a real passing down, and Eddie Ivory made a super run.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special.
Tide's just right. That'll be a full moon. Hardly any wind. And the Lowenbrau's cold. Sure beats the office.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrau.
Sure hope the fish don't bother us.
A world car is coming, the new Ford Escort. Engineering teams from America and overseas have created a new car built in America with better ideas from around the world. Four-wheel independent suspension, front-wheel drive, technically advanced engine, higher gas mileage ratings than Rabbit, Honda Accord, Toyota Corolla hatchback. Ford Escort, built in America to take on the world.
Monday, Lou Grant, the Emmy Award-winning series premieres with an all-new episode. Be sure and watch Ed Asner as Lou Grant, premiering Monday at 10, 9 Central and Mountain.